Hi everyone, I'm Katie. For those of you who don't know me, this is my fourth pregnancy and I am mostly raw vegan and I am 40 years old and I'm happy to share this with you today. I decided to do a Q&A because I've been getting a lot of questions about this pregnancy specifically because it's been different from the ones that I've had in the past. I did not used to be vegan or raw, so things in my lifestyle have changed, and because of that, people are curious about how things are going and what's different, and so that is why I decided to do this video to let you know the most commonly asked questions and be able to answer those for you. One of the questions I've been getting is, as a raw vegan, do you need specific supplements for pregnancy, or just as a vegan, do you need specific supplements for pregnancy? Well, I'm going to make this as brief as possible because I don't want this to be a long video. I'm going to dedicate another video to what supplements I take now compared to what I've done in past pregnancies. Share with you the difference, share with you the why, because it's so important. So I'm going to go more in depth there. But basically, I'm going to say that you absolutely do need your prenatal requirements across the board, the same ones that everyone needs. And vegans need to focus on vitamin B12 and D3, which it's fantastic. You can have your blood tested for these to know where you are and know where to shore up. So if you can do that, I'd encourage you to do that and make sure you at least have your basics in place. Another question that I get, and I'm going to keep this specific to the first trimester, is, did you say raw vegan? Well, vegan, absolutely yes. There is no reason on earth that would ever convince me to veer away from that path for all the reasons that I am vegan. So that will not ever change no matter what. And raw? No, not always. I'm considered more high raw. I follow a lot of the eating styles that go closer to Ellen Fisher or John Kohler. So if you're familiar with them and their philosophy, that is the one that I follow. I am very close to the 80-10-10 plan because I believe that is the healthiest. I thrive the most on that. And have I deviated a little bit? Yes. And this is so important to understand why, because you have to have grace with yourself and know that, especially in the first trimester, things are changing so much in your body. For goodness sakes, you are forming a brand new human being. All the major organs are being put into place. The skeletal structure, the heart's beating, that brain is going like crazy, learning things and sending messages throughout the body. Your baby's learning how to move for the first time, open and close his or her hands and all of that. So the change from not even being able to see your baby with the naked eye to how big they're going to be at the end of the first trimester is just astronomical. So much is going inside of you. So know that you're not going to be able to live your day-to-day life exactly as if you weren't pregnant. I hope you don't. And so you need to be nurturing yourself and your baby. So what that meant for me is my dietary needs changed a little bit. I needed a little bit more fat. I needed more calories. And to compensate for that, sometimes I was sick and tired of waking up in the middle of the night eating bananas because I was starving to death because my body needed more calories. You're already waking up to have to pee. So any more waking up is just unacceptable. So I started doing things like having sweet potatoes for dinner. If my body was craving fat, I'd eat 1 or 2 more bites of avocado, that type of thing. And if I was having food aversions, which happened quite a bit, I don't care if I made a wonderful lunch for myself or I bought all these great groceries that I was planning on eating. If I don't want to eat it, I'm not going to force myself, because I could turn a food aversion into actually losing my meal. I mean, you don't want to suffer through eating something. Your taste definitely can change when you're pregnant, especially in the first trimester. Textures, taste, smell, they're all going to affect you a little bit differently than they do when you're not pregnant. So understand that things aren't just going to roll the way they normally do, and perfectly planning out what you're going to eat may backfire on you pretty badly. So have a little bit of grace with yourself and know things that might change, because they certainly did for me, and I changed accordingly. So I may have done great with smoothies in the morning, which I always do, thank goodness, because I love my smoothies. But come lunch, if I didn't want a salad or if I didn't want whatever fruit I bought, I'd go into the fridge and see what else I could make, and sometimes that was cooked food. Are there advantages to being raw while pregnant? Absolutely. You've got your great health advantages that come along regardless whether you're pregnant or not. But Some great advantages that are added to that is hydration. Super, super important to stay hydrated because your blood volume is increasing quite a bit. And fiber, since your intestines are changing as well, the lining's getting smoother, digestion's becoming a little bit more difficult and sluggish, you need that extra fiber. So those are two great benefits. And the other benefit is smell. Especially if you're dealing with morning sickness and food aversions of any kind, you know what it can be like to walk in a room and someone's cooking dinner, or you're trying to cook dinner for your family, and something that you used to love now smells so horrible to you. It makes you lightheaded, sick to your stomach. You just can't stand it. Sometimes you have to leave the room. You don't have to deal with that with raw food. It smells the way it smells. You cut open a tomato, it's not going to be pungent at you. It's just going to be a tomato, hardly any smell at all. So that's a great advantage as well. Another question I get is, did you get morning sickness? No, I have not experienced morning sickness for any of my pregnancies, and don't get mad at me because I have such bad problems with motion sickness, always have. I was the poor kid who couldn't swing on the swings or go for a ride in the wagon because I'd start puking. So I have had my fair share of throwing up. I don't need to add morning sickness to that. So no, I have not experienced morning sickness, just pretty strong food aversion sometimes. So for those of you who ask about morning sickness because you're experiencing it or you're worried that you might experience it, there are things that you can do before pregnancy and during pregnancy to really help you battle the morning sickness and improve things as best as you can for yourself to give yourself the best advantage. Because morning sickness can easily lead to dehydration, which makes you even sicker, and it puts you and your baby at risk. Not fun. So you definitely want to be as proactive as possible. The first thing, and I learned this from my midwife with my first child because she took care of people at the birth center, and she also went up into the mountains to a community of people who lived off of the land and had for generations. She said almost none of them ever experienced morning sickness, and she believed her theory for that was a very good nutritional foundation throughout their life, and they were also very healthy people. So if you go into pregnancy and you've been raised on box lunches and soda and you haven't made huge strides to change and boost up your nutrition as much as you can before pregnancy, you're more susceptible to morning sickness. Same with coming into it if you've had health issues coming into it, and that could be anything, even struggling with allergies all your life. That is a health issue. That's your immune system being compromised. It makes you more fragile and susceptible to things that come along with pregnancy. So do what you can to conquer those things nutritionally before you get pregnant. Absolutely. And the importance of making sure that we have a good nutritional and healthy base before pregnancy is echoed throughout the medical community now. People know how important it is for not just the mom, but even the dad. So I encourage you to do that. And then the other things that you can do to help with morning sickness is stay hydrated. Stay hydrated no matter what you do. And even if you can't keep food down, buy a juicer and start juicing fruits, vegetables, whatever is most appealing to you and that doesn't sound awful to you. So whether it be watermelon juice or whatever you want that you think will be okay for your stomach, get the fluids into you, and that way you're still getting some calories in you as well until you can get past that phase. Boost yourself up with as much hydration as possible. Don't let yourself get hungry. Hunger is another thing that really triggers morning sickness. So a lot of people will have food by their bed so that they can put something in their mouth and eat it before they even stand up in the morning. So if you stand up and your blood sugar is just tanked, that's a great way to have to run to the bathroom and throw up. So stay hydrated, avoid hunger. A third one is avoid exhaustion. That's another one that can really deplete you and tank you. If you're feeling tired or just a little bit dizzy, sit down, lie down, listen to your body and do what your body needs. Don't keep pushing yourself. If you need to rest for just a few minutes or for even an hour, do what your body's asking you to do. Fourth one is smells and foods. Avoid things that really set you off. If there's certain fragrances in the house, They're probably going to be triggering morning sickness, whether or not you're aware of it, because all those things are affecting your brain and the chemistry of that. They're toxic, most likely, unless you're using things like essential oils. Fragrances are very toxic. So your cleaning supplies, your laundry soap, get the fragrances out of your house. If you're cooking, try to cook things that don't smell terrible to you. So be gentle to your nose. Did you just wake up from your nap? Mm-hmm. You have a good nap? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so glad. Are you going to do some recording with Mommy? Mm-hmm. All right. This is our second born. He's 3 now. You're such a big boy, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. So, my last question is, what was my biggest challenge during the first trimester? And that was tough for me to think of it. I think there were 2 major challenges. The first one was fear. The reason why, if you've seen any of my previous videos, our 3rd pregnancy, I had a missed miscarriage. So the constant thought of, is my baby still alive? Really haunts me some days, and I have to daily turn that over to God, recognize I'm having this fear, this anxiety. I'm not in control of life. God is. God, I give this over to you. Please give me peace and security that you've got me and things are going to be okay. So that's a big challenge, because especially I have to do it every single day. The other challenge that I faced was early in the first trimester. I looked like I was showing by week 4 because I was so bloated. It was terrible how bloated I was. It was constant. It got worse at night. I dealt with bloating with all of my pregnancies, especially in the 1st and the 3rd trimester. Very uncomfortable. And I thought maybe because I was raw vegan, things might be different this time, but that's no guarantee. This is how my body is reacting to pregnancy. So I reached out to other people in the raw vegan community who had been pregnant before and asked if any of them dealt with this and if they had solutions. I was kind of disappointed. I didn't get many replies, and the ones that I did were not helpful at all. I mean, I heard the generic, everybody's pregnancy is different and this is how your body's dealing with it. Okay, that's great. I understand that. However, just because it could be a pregnancy system doesn't mean that it's normal. I mean, everybody gets a cold in the winter. That's not normal just because everybody does it. So I see this as a problem that needs to have a solution. So thankfully, this coincided with Shapley coming out with a brand new probiotic. And my first thought to myself was, I already take a probiotic from them and I get good results from it, but it hasn't been enough for this pregnancy. What's going to be different about this? And I heard people giving testimonies who had done a trial beforehand. Waving. And they were saying what a huge improvement it was, and they specifically mentioned gas and bloating. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna get my hands on this thing and give it a try. It is the Octaflora DI. I don't know if that's focusing on that for you, but it helps so much. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm showing now at 11 weeks, but it's me, not air. And I feel so much more comfortable. And I wake up in the morning, my stomach's almost flat. It's great. So that has helped me tremendously, and I highly recommend it. So let's see. I think the only other thing I wanted to say is my biggest lesson for the first trimester is don't have these huge expectations and ideals for yourself as to what your diet's going to be exactly like, what your exercise routine is going to be like, the tasks that you're going to accomplish in the first trimester, because you got to have grace with yourself. Most likely, things are not going to work out that way. And if you don't have grace with yourself, you're going to be disappointed in yourself. And who wants to live like that, living with disappointment? This is such a short period of time in your life, which it may not seem like. If you're struggling with things like morning sickness, it may seem like it's dragging on forever, but it's really so short. These first 12 weeks, you're never going to get them back. You're never going to be pregnant again with this baby that you have in you right now. So it is a precious time. Set your expectations to be simply this, that every day you're going to listen to your body and you're going to do your best to nurture yourself and your baby the best you can, knowing that each day might be just a little bit different. So let that be your expectation, and just take good care of yourself and treasure the time that you have right now, getting to know your baby, because you can start connecting with your baby right now and talking to him or her. And I wish you out there who are pregnant the very, very best. I'm here if you have any questions or if you just want someone to talk to, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye. Ooh, I got your sticker for you. Do you need more kisses? You do need more kisses? Okay. Can I have a kiss? Oh, thank you so much.